Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk. I'm Eric Weber on this Tuesday. We said we're going to do these on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, 3 nights a week. Perfect, right? Just enough time to talk about all the headlines in film. And we have a bunch of them tonight. So I'm glad we're live here at 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Midnight, though, on the East Coast. I'm not doing this at midnight Pacific. You guys think I'm crazy? I'm asleep at that time. Let's get to our top story here tonight, and it is The Batman. The Batman 2 is coming your way. We knew this was happening. It's one of those things like, when is Warner Brothers going to finally announce that this is happening? Well, they did it today in Las Vegas, Cinemacon, which is the big, I guess you would call it an exhibition slash trade show for theater owners. So all the theater owners show up from around the country, go to Vegas, have a wonderful time, gamble, and sit through panels from different studios. And they talk about what is coming from the given studio. Today was Warner Brothers. Bunch of stuff going on. But the first thing they off the bat, here it comes. The Batman sequel, part 2. Everything that we expected is going on. Looking here on the Variety article and just what we knew was going to happen. Matt Reeves back. And so is pretty much everybody who was in the first film. We'll see about Joker. Seeing as the reaction to Joker was not fantastic, we'll see what happens with that. But really, we knew it was going to come. I mean, this is a movie that is sitting on $750 million worldwide. And we mentioned this before. This is a film that really should be closer to $1 billion. I mean, we've had this discussion numerous times here on Midnight Movie Talk, and it's a film that should be closer to $1 billion than to $750 million. But nonetheless, it is still a good number, and we knew we were going to get a sequel. So today we get that. But we'll see what happens with the sequel. Do they put a little more constraints on Matt Reeves, particularly in regards to runtime? I think that 3-hour runtime, we all know, was overbloated. It's just got too much film. It needs to be tightened up, get it to about 2:15. You get more run times, more screenings, all those things. So you're going to get more of that. So that's our lead story here tonight. Batman 2 is going to happen, but we knew that. Let's go to story number 2, and that is staying in Vegas as we talk about CinemaCon. So this is what is happening. Again, all the theater owners are there, and they're listening to the pitches and the pep talks of these studios like Warner Brothers today, saying, hey, we've got some great product coming your way. Let's start with the news, Batman 2. Then let's go on to what else we've got coming up here. The next big film from Warner Brothers is going to be not DC League of Super Pets. That's not their next big film. That trailer looks so terrible. When you watch that trailer, like, who greenlit this? Who said this is a great idea? Let's make an animated movie about the DC superheroes' pets. Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Elvis is the next big film. Baz Luhrmann and Austin Butler is Elvis. This is going to be really lights out. I have not seen the footage today from Vegas. One thing they do here at CinemaCon is they do not show you the stuff. You typically have to rely on the trades and or social media to say, hey, it looks amazing. No surprise. Let's get one thing out of the way. When these studios are talking to their audiences in Vegas, they are very clearly going to show them good stuff. They're going to show them the hits, none of the errors. So you're going to have just pop after pop. It's a sizzle reel. You guys know what those are. That's basically your best stuff. If I put a sizzle reel together of Midnight Movie Talk, it would be 5 seconds. It would be all the hits and none of the errors. Okay, it'd be all the good stuff. So as we look here at Elvis, and I'm looking at the THR article, that is very clearly their next big film. The only issue I have here with Elvis, and I guess the footage was just wow. And if you've seen the trailer, I've seen it in Dolby Cinema down at the AMC Burbank, my home theater. Wow, that trailer plays so well in the Dolby format. Baz Luhrmann knows how to make a film, an event, and this is truly not just about Elvis, but I guess today he really went into the mechanisms of the film, and it essentially is about life and in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and how Elvis kind of transform society, which a lot of you don't know. I wasn't around for Elvis, the tail end of it, but not the center of the Elvis experience. So we're going to be put there by Baz Luhrmann. I think Warner Brothers is very very hyped for this film, and they should be based on what I'm seeing from the footage. And again, today was even more of that. Was Austin Butler is singing Elvis's material. But as you look through Elvis, the only issue that I have with that film is that it is going to be a summer release. And as we know, how many times, every time we do one of these, I have to just establish again that awards films come out at the end of the year for a reason. That is when the best stuff is put out by the studios. They want to be considered for awards, which means more money for their films and a longer shelf life for them going forward in the future. Oscar winner will always carry weight as the years go on versus a film that just disappears. So the issue I have with Elvis is this. Elvis is out in June, okay? And I really want to see that movie out in October. The earlier release date very much gives me pause. Like it, Rocketman, which is over my shoulder. Rocketman was not a big awards film because it came out in May. Rocketman deserved to be an awards film, but it wasn't. Warner Brothers will have that problem going forward with Elvis because it's too early in the year. That said, forget about awards. Let's just talk about the film. I think they have a winner. It just looks like the kind of stuff. Baz Luhrmann, look what he did to The Great Gatsby. If you haven't seen that film in 3D, The Great Gatsby is literally just like, it is such an experience. I wish you all could have that experience and go back and really watch that film in 3D. That was at the height of 3D. If you remember back to when 3D was huge, it was back in 2011, 2012, 2013. We had films like Prometheus, which was shot in 3D by Ridley Scott. You had The Great Gatsby. You had Dread. These are films that were literally shot with 3D cameras, not added in post. So the 3D was legit. It was a real reason to see them in the third dimension. And I wish that this film had that, actually, just the way that The Great Gatsby looked. But this is still going to be something. This is an event I can't wait to see. I'm very excited for Elvis. But let's go down to some other things as we scroll through. A lot of this is about Elvis. The other films that they showed today, Wonka, which is Timothy Chalamet, and the prequel to, of course, Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. And that the most important thing about that film is that it's directed by Paul King. Paul King is the director of both Paddington films. There is a reason that both Paddington films are viewed as classics. Both. The second one is actually an improvement on the first, but the first is truly a wonderful film. Both films are, there's a reason why Film Twitter loves them and why Massive Talent, the weight of Massive Talent, uses that Paddington 2 in the film to tremendous effect. Not to box office success, but to a good effect in the film, is that Paul King is a hella great director and very talented at visual storytelling. And that's what Wonka, apparently the footage they showed today, really showed that off. So that's not surprising to hear that the Wonka footage wowed everybody there, because Paul King can do that. Visually, he is really an expert, a master of that ability to do that. Not every director is. It sounds obvious, like it's a movie, so he should be good at visuals. But no, this is one of Paul King's true standout talents. So Wonka apparently looked great. The Flash they showed with Michael Keaton in there. I don't know what's going to happen with The Flash. We all know that what is going on with Ezra Miller is so bizarre. And this kid is having a meltdown. We know that. Over in Hawaii, second time he gets arrested. This is now a situation where I really feel like you've almost got to go back in and take him out and reshoot the movie. I know Warner Brothers doesn't want to do that, but this is a actor, a very talented, young-ish actor that is really going off the deep end. He's got to get control of his life, and very clearly he's got to just go away. Warner Brothers needed to extract him from Hawaii after that first incident, but they didn't. And now we have a second one, and now you have the Flash in this quasi state of what are they going to do with it? I mean, right now they definitely want to put it out, and that's why they gave it a little bit of a teaser, but they keep pushing it. I mean, at some point they've got to figure out what they're going to do with the film. I don't think they want to reshoot it, but it's got to be something they discuss. We'll see. Time heals everything. They need that now. It's June 2023. So you're talking about 15 months from now is when we're talking to The Flash. That's a lot of time to forget about what happened with Ezra Miller. That's what Warner Brothers wants to have happen. Also, they showed a little bit of the Aquaman sequel, apparently Aquaman sequel, and that is another thing that I'm sure they're working a ton on the CGI on that film. So you're not going to get that. That comes out March of next year. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Also, Salem's Lot. If you guys don't know what Salem's Lot is, that is man, that is Stephen King. What a story, vampire tale. And the original was a TV movie, if I'm not mistaken, and it was eerie as hell. And apparently today they showed one of the vampires, and it was a knockout. So very excited to see that film. That's another one of those. That's one of those wild card things for Warner Brothers. And then we had let's see what else do we have today. We had Don't Worry, Darling, which is um, Florence Pugh. And also, that is going to be coming out. Could be an awards film. When you look at that film, very clearly Olivia Wilde directing that. You guys remember what happened with Booksmart? That is a film that will be coming out in late September, which is right there. That's right on the edge of the awards window, as we like to call it. And it sounds like, listen, if you watch Booksmart, you see a director who knows what she's doing. Olivia Wilde's very interesting in what she did with that film. It's that the imprint, the directorial imprint of Booksmart is very noticeable. Some films don't have that. It very much does. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing Don't Worry, Darling. That is out September 23rd. And I guess Florence Pugh just kills it, but we knew that. She's an up-and-coming superstar. She's the best part of Black Widow. There's not a question there that she's the number one thing. And David Harbour. But really, Florence Pugh is just in Midsummer and go on to so many things. Whatever that wrestling movie was, I need to watch that. Apparently, she was great in the wrestling movie. Whatever the name of that thing was, it was one of these movies that it wasn't a huge hit, but everyone talked about it. Had great buzz from 2 years ago now. I mean, now that we had COVID, I feel it could have been 3 years. Time is gone. Black Adam they showed today, so really a bunch of good stuff today from Warner Brothers. But again, sizzle reels, highlights are going to play well to a crowd. So don't get too excited about things in that, they're going to show your best stuff. And of course, it's going to be good. Let's show you what Barbie looks like. This is Greta Gerwig's film. We're going to get to see this in July 2023. Isn't that crazy? We are talking about a film that is going to be out in 15 months. Basically, just exactly 15 months from now. July 21st, 2023. Which is nuts, right? And look at this thing. I had it up here on Twitter. This is the Warner Brothers tweet you guys are looking at here. This thing keeps climbing. It was at 50,000 when I was just setting this thing up about 20 minutes ago. Now it's at 57 and climbing. Margot Robbie in the pink Corvette. I believe that's what she has. It looks like a Chevrolet. And then, Ryan Gosling is going to be Ken. Greta Gerwig learned a lot from Noah Baumbach. If you watch Lady Bird, you see it. This is going to be really fun. I think if Warner Brothers lets her do what she wants to do, what does Warner Brothers do? They let their directors do what they want to do. They don't say you have to do this, this, and this. And because of that, that is very exciting to hear that this film is going to be a Warner Brothers film. That gives me hope for Barbie and Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. I think if you take an approach of just an insane comedy approach to this, it'll work. And I think Greta Gerwig is the right person for this. It's been sitting around. It's been gestating for a while. And now they're finally really rolling with Barbie. But it doesn't come out until July 21st, 2023. So we've got a while to wait for that one as well. So a lot of these films today from Warner Brothers were all about, waiting forever to see them. The big one just down the street, just 3 months away or less, 2 months away, is going to be Elvis. All right, let's get to another big story here on this Tuesday. We had so many. I got to pull up. I haven't been pulling up my banners. Let's go here. Let's go to Justin Lin is off Fast X. This is probably the best thing for the franchise. When you look at what Justin Lin did when he came back for F9, F9 is truly a horrible film. It goes so far off the rails of reality that it's borderline unwatchable. It's really, you did expect Optimus Prime to come in, and it has this, multiverse with the Transformers. That's how ridiculous this film was. So Justin Lin is leaving. And I think that's probably, again, the best thing for this franchise based on what I saw from Fast 9. This is the quote. This is his mutual separation quote. With the support of Universal, I've made a difficult decision to step back as director of Fast X, Fast 10, while remaining with the project as a producer. Over 10 years and 5 films, we've been able to shoot the best actors, best stunts, and best damn car chases. And most ridiculous Fiero in space angle. I added that to the quote. He'll be forever grateful to amazing cast, crew, and studio for their support. Welcome me to the Fast family. Whatever happened, something happened. Okay, this we see this happen in Hollywood. Lord Miller with Solo. There's a difference of opinions as the movie starts. And in this case, Fast 10, Fast X, was being shot. I guess second unit was shooting. Something happened where Universal said, we're going to pull the plug. And they probably went back and watched F9 and said, man, we got to get Justin off this film because F9 is really terrible. And look at what F9 did not do, the numbers they expected. Universal expected this thing to really pop again. Without The Rock, without Jason, you really lost when you had Hobbs and Shaw take off. That film needs them. And so now you're going to go back with Brie Larson's coming in and Jason Momoa as the bad guy, apparently, for Fast X. But whatever's happening, Universal's like, we got to get a different director in here. And probably because Justin Lin, in creative differences, had some idea in his script that was not what they really wanted to do, or he had something even more ridiculous than a Fiero in space. Something even stupider, because that movie is really the height of stupidity. When you F9, please don't ever come in here in the comments. I can't wait to comments and someone says Fast 9 rules. I wish I could block people. I'd be like, you're gone for that comment. I can take a lot, but if you say Fast 9's good, we can't have a relationship going forward. It's like Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. We can have this debate, but you're wrong if you think I Am 3 is better than I Am 2. I'm not saying either one is really fantastic. I Am 3 is so bad. It's when you neuter the Mandarin, you neuter the film. I mean, you just destroy your film. And that, in the Christmas angle and the kid, and it's Iron Man 3 is horrible. Get on the right side of history. It's a horrible film. It's one of the worst Marvel films, not one of the best. Come on now. Also, this is our big topic tonight. I really want to drill down on this, and we're going to get to comments in a minute, but this is a biggie for me. We just talked about Cinemacon going on in Vegas right now. You have all these studios showing their theatrical film product to the theater owners. Guess who's not there? Netflix is not there. Why? Because they don't care about theatrical. They don't even consider theatrical. And here's why it's a big topic today, especially. We got the first images from The Gray Man. 200 million, Russo brothers from Avengers, as you know. Their film with Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling, 200 million on this film. And there's not going to be a theatrical component to it. Maybe in like a couple theaters, a day and date, which means the same day it's on Netflix, maybe a week ahead of time. If you're Netflix, how do you not have some kind of deal with AMC, Regal, with somebody to show your films when you have a $200 million blockbuster like The Gray Man? And I'm going to pull up this poll that I put out earlier today on Twitter. And this is, if I can get my tweet to load, there it is. Would you see The Gray Man in theaters if Netflix had a 3-week theatrical exclusive run ahead of its streaming debut? So it comes out, I want to say July. I got to double check the date. I don't have it in front of me. It's something like that. Would you go to see The Gray Man if they put it in theaters 3 weeks before you could watch it on Netflix and really put it in a lot of theaters, not 5 theaters, not 50, not 500. Put it in 3,000 theaters. AMC, Regal, figure out a distribution deal. Every other studio can do it. Why can't you, Netflix? I don't know why they're not doing this, but it makes their films cheaper. It cheapens the product because theatrical will always be the gold standard when it comes to films. You know that. How many times have I seen a film that's been streaming only, streaming on Hulu, streaming on Netflix, streaming on whatever else? And I instantly am out because I want to see a theatrical film first, a streaming film second. Theatrical, then go to streaming. Not theatrical and streaming same day, or streaming no theatrical. I don't want to see that film. I'm sorry. Call me old school snob. I don't really care. The point is you got to get this right, Netflix. I'm here for you. I will literally walk into AMC. I'll fly to Kansas City, which is where AMC is located. And I will walk in for you, Netflix, and I'll say, we're going to get a deal done today. We're going to put The Gray Man in 3,000 screens nationwide. I'm going to talk to Regal, and here today I'm talking to you, AMC. What can we get done today that will get this film in theaters? We'll give you a 3-week window, and we'll split it, whatever the split is between studios. I don't have all the financials. I'm the bullshit guy. I'll go in and do that, but I'll get it done. And Netflix needs that. They need somebody to go in and get these deals, hammer them out, get it done. AMC, Regal, Cinemark, nationwide. There's my Netflix needs theaters rant. Let's get to some comments here on this Tuesday night. Midnight Movie Talk. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll get into the comments here. Very excited to talk to you guys as we are rolling. Let's go. My predominant thought is Cinemacon replacing San Diego Comic-Con for studios. Cinemacon is, Aaliyah, good evening to you, by the way. Cinemacon has been around. Okay, it's becoming bigger now because of social media. Before, it would be really only in the trades, Variety, Deadline, THR. It wouldn't be something that everybody's talking about on social media. Now you have a number of people who drive to Vegas. I could have gone to Vegas and gone to Cinemacon. For me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You can watch the stuff, but you can't spread the video or anything like that. And so it's really just about ingesting all the product. But again, it's going to be sizzle reels. So everything's going to look good. Nothing's going to be bad. You're not going to watch something and say, that looks terrible. So anything you see about this looks fantastic, this, of course, sizzle reel. They're going to pick out the best stuff. They could make Fast 9 look good. That should tell you everything you need to know about Cinemacon. If they can make Fast 9 look appetizing and half decent, then you can do that for any film. But yes, Cinemacon has taken a bigger role now with the advent of social media. That is why you're hearing so much more about it. And it's really an industry thing, but the stars go there. The Rock was there today. Florence Pugh, I believe, was there. I know Olivia Wilde was there. They want to make sure all their people are there and they shake the hands of the theater owners, right? So they feel really good about their product. It's like during award season. You guys know, these are all FYC screeners behind me. These are all screeners sent out to awards bodies to say, hey, vote for my film. And they have events for awards films. It's just like that. They have the star there. You get to meet them. You say, oh, wow, I got to meet Elizabeth Olsen, which I told that story the other night. Stunning. Literally one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my entire existence. And I've seen a lot of famous people. Okay, it's just truth. She's literally just like, you meet these people and then you feel like, oh, wow, I like them. I want to vote for them. Or in this case, I want to book their movie even more. And I feel really positive about my experience getting to meet The Rock today in Las Vegas at CinemaCon. That's all part of the PR push of these studios. Very smart move. So that's why CinemaCon is bigger now. Really, at the end of the day, it's all about social media, which isn't everything. All about social media now. Black Adam, the only film to make money from Warner Brothers. Shazam 2 going to be overshadowed by Avatar 2. That's Kevin. Listen, it's going to be tough for anything that goes up against Avatar 2. Just wait until, I believe Disney, is it tomorrow at CinemaCon? Just wait. They're going to unleash something from Avatar 2. And then everyone's going to be talking about Avatar 2. I don't want to be up against Avatar 2. and that's going to be an issue for Shazam 2. I feel like the first one really caught that lightning in a bottle, and everyone's really excited to see it. I don't know if the sequel's going to have quite that. Really depends on the quality of the film. Hopefully, it's shorter. Another film that was too long, Shazam 1. Black Adam is definitely going to be a hit. It's The Rock. The Rock, I believe I read today that he's made, was it 11 billion? The number was insane worldwide. His films have made something like 11 billion. So it'll do well because he's a major star. I mean, there's only so many huge superhero star people in Hollywood, and he is one of them, The Rock. So I have obviously high hopes for Black Adam. I think Warner Brothers does too. The Depp Heard trial might impact Aquaman 2. Warner Brothers has had such bad luck. We talked about Ezra Miller a few minutes ago. So you got Ezra Miller doing his thing in Hawaii, his insane thing in Hawaii. And now you have the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and I have not watched a second of it. I've heard some of the details because you can't avoid it. Who sits around, by the way? Who sits around all day and watches this trial? Like, really? I mean, what are you doing with your life? If you're sitting around watching this trial of these two people that you don't know, okay, I could go on for hours about that. But anyhow, Amber Heard is definitely not a good thing for Warner Brothers either. So you've got Ezra, you got Amber, and Warner Brothers is like, God damn, we can't buy a break here. Like, what else has to happen to us? Definitely not a good thing for Aquaman 2. Again, you got to get space. That's why it's out next, what would I say, March? So you're looking at almost a year from now. This will go away. Everything goes away in time. That's what we said about Will Smith with the Oscar slap. Everything lessens in time. So you all of a sudden welcome Will Smith back. Will Smith, we love you. Let's do Bright 2 again. Netflix canceled it, but all of a sudden things can change because time heals all wounds. And that's what Warner Brothers wants to have happen here. They want everybody to forget about this trial. They want everyone to forget about what happened in Hawaii with Ezra, and then they can release their films. It'll come up, but they want it to be less of a big deal. I hate Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles with passion. Remy, wow. That's a very passionate hatred that you have. I I understand if you love Jason Sudeikis, and he seems like the nicest guy in the universe, by the way, and Ted Lasso completely rules. It's one of the reasons I have now an extensive soccer kit collection tonight. Manchester City, which won today, big match. And so I love that show. And if you loved Olivia and you loved Jason together, then of course you're not going to like Olivia and Harry. And they got together on Don't Worry, Darling. So it is definitely a touchy situation. I understand how you feel the way you do. It's Remy, right? But let's just focus on the film and not on the passion of the people involved. Let's just get to the actual film, and I think the film itself will be, again, Olivia Wilde, what she did with Booksmart. I'm excited to see Don't Worry, Darling. Florence Pugh, Fitness with Julian. Hello, good evening to you. Florence Pugh is going to be a huge star. She's a someone tell me the name of the movie with the wrestling. I don't want to look it up. It's a movie with she plays a a, a real life figure, okay, a wrestler, and it's her upbringing in England or something. I don't know what the hell. Something, three things. Bump, bump, bump. Three words with this, something with it. That movie. She's a big star. She's obviously a pretty girl. That helps. But she's also you got she has it. Okay, when you talk about a star, they have the it quality or they don't, and she has it, and she has it throughout Black Widow. She's the best part of the film, like I said, except for David Harbour. He's great too. 1, 2. Those are the only two things that are good about Black Widow. The only Warner Brothers movie I'm excited about, Shazam 2. Well, then that's, again, I mean, I didn't love the first one as much as some of you did, but of course, I'll watch the second one. Any CBM, you're obviously going to go see. I went to see Morbius. How many of you can honestly say you paid to go see Morbius? I paid. I didn't even go to the press screening. I paid with my AMC A-List app, which, by the way, is the best thing ever. I want them to sponsor this show. We got to grow this show so I can literally have AMC A-List come out. I will pimp that all day because I believe in it. It's such a great product for $24 a month to get 12 movies, 3 movies a week. And then if you, let's say, like, I was going to go see X again last night. I bought a ticket by pushing a button. And then I sat there and I go, I don't want to drive down to AMC Burbank. It's, 3 minutes from my house. I'd rather not go. And I said, cancel. And that's how easy it is. It's the best thing ever. If you have an AMC near you and you don't have A list, you are doing life wrong. You're doing that wrong for sure. Aaliyah, back to you. Barbie has the same release date as Oppenheimer. That's right. Forgot to mention Oppenheimer. That's going to be cool. I mean, Warner Brothers is going to just own the universe on that day, right? You've got two massive films with really playing to different audiences, as we know. But I do think that Barbie's going to play to an older audience eventually because people grew up with Barbies, people my age. I didn't play with Barbies, but my sister did, okay? Those people are going to go see a Barbie movie. And Oppenheimer is Nolan. So we know that that's going to be a massive day in July. By the way, that's an interesting date for Oppenheimer because that's the same as Tenet. Nolan must love that July. That's a thing for him. Filmmakers get attached to dates and seasons. Like I mentioned, Iron Man 3, if you look at Shane Black's movies, they're almost always set in Christmas. They get attached to things, which, by the way, is no reason for that movie to be set in Christmas time, especially in the middle of the summer when it came out. That's the weirdest thing when you're watching a Christmas movie and it's not Christmas. It's Christmas. It's fine. It's the middle of summer. I don't want to be talking about Christmas. It's weird. It's why you release Christmas movies around Christmas, even if they're not Christmas centric. Gremlins was okay. So Gremlins was a summer movie. I'll give Gremlins a pass because Gremlins is a classic. Will Nolan wish that he lived in Barbie's world? We'll find out, Nick. We will. I don't know because Warner Brothers is they can't lose unless both films tank. But I can't imagine that a Nolan Oppenheimer with this cast. I mean, who isn't in the film? Everybody's in the film. It's an event. We know that. Nick, your next comment is I'm excited for this one because this is the film that I am super stoked. I got the invite today. I was looking at my phone and I looked down and it's like, you've been invited to see Top Gun Maverick. Yes! Because I grew up with Top Gun. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm so excited to see this film. It looks okay. I can't say that I'm like the actual trailer I'm okay with it. It's fine. But I have a feeling once I'm in the seat and I hear the Top Gun theme by Harold Faltermeyer that I'm going to be like, hell yes. I had the soundtrack on cassette and I played it in my basement in Ohio as I worked out. I was the skinny kid. It's not exactly huge now, but skinny kid lifting weights in the basement of my parents' house, listening to the Top Gun soundtrack on cassette. That is there. There's something I've never admitted before this moment on Midnight Movie Talk. I'll never bring it up again, and I will deny it forever. I'll erase this episode altogether. Yeah, I'm excited for Top Gun Maverick, no question about it. Let's get to Wasim. Good evening to you. Not this Iron Man 3 slander. You got it. You know you're going to get it here. I will not back off on the Iron Man 3 slander. It's such a bad film. Come on, man. Let's just start with this. Let's just start and end with this. When you do what you did to that character, when you literally neuter the Mandarin and rip his appendage off of his body, just tear it off, it's over. That movie's done. It's so bad because that character kicks ass, Ben Kingsley, and it's menacing, and then it's like, oh, I'm an actor. I'm like, what the just happened to my film? And then you have the kid in the Christmas and Downey Jr. wandering around feeling sad for himself. The whole thing is just terrible. Iron Man 3 is, for my money, if not the worst MCU movie, it is very near the nadir. It is so close to the bottom. It's bottom 3 MCU. And I will continue that. You can't stop me, Wasim. I'm right. I'm never wrong. Very rarely. Synagogue's here. Fast 9 rules. No, you are so. That's another one. This is 2 for 2. You guys are wrong tonight. Fast 9's terrible. And that's why they got rid of Lynn today. They watched Fast 9 again and they said, we can't have you do another one. Some executive all of a sudden said, let me just watch Fast 9 again. I kind of forgot what he did with the last one. Let's see. And then what are you doing with this film? It was horrible. What a bad movie. So no, you're both wrong. Iron Man 3 and F9 are both bad films. There's no debate to be had. Remy, back to you. Top Gun Maverick's going to be awesome. Tom Cruise, in the quality of his movies, if there's anyone that has as much passion as Tom Cruise, that guy has so much passion, right, for what he's doing that it just, you feel it. You feel the passion of his work and the stunts that he does. What was it? The last Mission Impossible, where he's on the back of the plane. You saw, have you seen the making of? He literally strapped himself to the side of the plane and they take off. In that guy's nuts. Or jumping the building where he broke his ankle, or whatever happened. He broke something when he jumped and missed. And it's in the movie. That guy does his own stunts. He's got to be what, 50? I'm going to guess he's in his late 50s. He's like 58. I'm going to throw 58 out there. I think he's 58. Something like that. Still looks great. And he's still kicking his own ass in these films. And the passion that he shows in these films is really remarkable. And that's what I think comes through. And that's what it, that, that's why I want to see this film, because he's going to give him, you're going to get everything you got from that guy every single time. Everyone has a Netflix sub. Why would anyone go pay for a movie they can see at home? Well, because here's the thing, Remy, is that if you want to see a film in a theater like I do, and especially a film like The Gray Man, that is a big blockbuster, $200 million film, I don't want to watch that at home. I want to watch that in Dolby Cinema down at AMC Burbank. I want to watch it IMAX. I want to watch it on any big screen that's bigger than my TV at home, which is okay size. It's not, I don't have a gigantic like wall size plasma, but I still, no matter what, I would rather go see a movie in a theater. Sometimes I'll drive like across LA to go see it, like 45 minutes one way to go see a movie on a screen, a small screen, like Portrait of Lady on Fire. There's a movie. Okay. So I didn't love Portrait of Lady on Fire, but I specifically got in my car, drove 45 minutes to Beverly Hills, watched the film, did not like the film, but then came home, and then I still was very happy with my decision to go watch that film at a screening room in Beverly Hills, because it's always better. Big screen's always better, even if it's just a slightly bigger screen. It's just, you get locked in, you put your phone away, you have no distractions. If it gets bad, you can wander out to the bathroom for a minute, you come back in, you don't like hit pause and never come back. I don't think I've walked out of maybe like 2, 3, 4 movies in my life. Once you're there, you commit, and I'll watch it. I think that's one of the things that also is huge about theatricals. If you want to give up, you're not just going to walk off. You're probably going to sit through it. And who knows, maybe something will turn for you. There's been movies like that. I look at Looper. Looper was a movie that I loved, then I hated, and then I loved. Based on the actual, sorry, I guess my computer is going crazy. Me. Hopefully, you guys can still see and hear. But Looper's a movie that I went up and down. It was a roller coaster ride for me, and I think that ultimately, to take that kind of ride, you have to be locked in, and that's what theatrical does. It locks you in, and everything is better on a big screen. I'm sorry, it just is. We can't have that debate about it's better at home. You can say that you have a problem with people talking behind you, pulling out a phone, texting, all that stuff. But I'm telling you, when you go to them, no matter what movie you watch, it's going to be better on a big screen than it is at home. Every single time. I don't care if it's a tiny movie, obviously a big movie. So The Gray Man is a movie that absolutely needs to be seen on a big screen. And I hope that Netflix figures out how to do it. Again, Netflix, if you're out there, I will hook this up. I bet you I could get it done within an hour. If you fly me to AMC, just pay me a finder's fee and a headhunter fee. I'll go into AMC and I'll get it done within an hour and a half. You just have to give me the parameters, and I'll hook it up, and we'll get a 3-week window on it. Let's see here. July 22nd. Okay, so there it is. It's a week before in theaters. But Everett, here's the thing. So Netflix does have a semi component. Okay, they do, but it's with like Cinemark. The deals with Cinemark and some smaller chains. It's not AMC. It's not Regal. The world revolves around AMC and Regal. Those are the two big theater chains. So you need to get them on board, and neither one is on board with Netflix. So Netflix needs to figure that out and then not make it a 1-week window. 1 week's not enough. 1 week, what Remy's saying is totally true. Everyone has a Netflix subscription. So why would they go pay for a movie they can see at home? So you need to make it a 3-week window. And let me tell you why that's important is because film Twitter and people's reaction to films is it's so important to be first, isn't it? Don't you feel that like I've got to see a movie. If I don't see it like opening night or in our case before it opens, then you feel like you're behind. And now I feel like that's a huge deal when it comes to films and people want to go see films. So you need to have that compelling reason to see a film first. So if you want to see The Gray Man, you've got to see it in theaters and then everyone's already talking about it. And then you go wait until it's on Netflix and everyone's like, who cares? We talked about that movie 3 weeks ago, right? How many times have you seen someone on Twitter that goes, oh man, I'm sorry I'm late to the party. I just saw Bubba and they saw it literally Sunday that it came out the first weekend. It's like, I'm sorry I'm late because you are late. You didn't see it Thursday night or before. Netflix has to have theaters apart from their business deal to continue to hemorrhage profits. I understand that they are a streaming service first, okay? But there still has to be a way to do what Universal's been doing, which, as you guys know, sometimes they did it Peacock, like day date. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about having it out and then putting it on Peacock like 17 days later. It's like a 17-day window. So let's talk Netflix 17-day window with AMC and Regal. Easy. If everyone else can do it, why can't Netflix? I can tell you why, because they don't have someone there who gives a shit about movie theaters. Very clearly, they just think it's something to throw on there. They need someone in there who has passion, like I am trying to bestow out there in the universe right now. They need to have theatrical. It's good for their big films. You can't have cinema without playing in theaters. You can't have a streaming film that goes straight to streaming. It just doesn't have the same cachet, right? It just doesn't. A direct-to-streaming movie does not have the same cachet as a film that's in theaters and then on streaming. Not day date, theaters, wait, streaming. That's it. That's the number one thing. Let's go to Gavin again. Puss in Boots got moved. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot of movies. Okay, we talked about this on Sunday night. August is a crap month for movies. The studios know that schools are starting. People are on vacation, their last minute vacations before summer ends. They're not going to movies. That's why August traditionally has garbage films. Nothing really great. Now, I understand there's Guardians of the Galaxy that came out of nowhere. You can still have a hit in August, but what I'm saying, the studios don't prioritize August as a month to give them the good shit. They give you junk, largely, because they know that people are tuned out. They're either on vacation, they're going back to school, they're, football starting up, whatever it is. And then September, people get settled more and you get a few things. October, November, December. Those are the big months. That's why all the awards films are in that window. Let's go to Aaliyah. Back to you. Disney's tomorrow, 9:45 to 11 my time. So that'll be very interesting to see what they have. They'll have obviously the Marvel slate going on with that. And they probably will do Fox at the same time because, as you know, Disney owns Fox Disney. So they'll have the Fox stuff too, which might be, they'll probably get tomorrow. You're going to get the Untitled David O. Russell film, which test screened last week. Anytime they test screen a movie, that means they're ready for footage. So the test screening just happened. Footage tomorrow of Untitled David O. Russell. That's what's going to happen. I called it here first. I'll send a tweet out. Don't you dare try to beat me on that, anybody. I'm not going to tweet right now. I'm going to tweet after. More movies under 2 hours was seen. That's it. What else to add? 100%. Yeah, thank you for verifying what I was saying about that whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. You have to be jobless or lifeless to watch the trial. I don't understand how someone sits there and watches that all day. If you do, okay, but I'm just saying maybe find a hobby that doesn't involve watching celebrities' trials and then drag each other through the shit for the entire day. But if you like it, then good. Matthews, I think is laughing at that comment. Fighting with My Family. Thank you, Gavin. That was the movie with Florence Pugh, the wrestling film. I never saw. I've heard she was very good in it. I heard the film was actually pretty good too. So thank you for that, Gavin. I didn't have time to Google it. I think Ezra Miller has been completely written off by Hollywood. At this point, Jay, it's probably the best thing to do. He needs to go away. He needs to go into WITSEC, witness protection, disappear, come back in over a year. We look at James Franco. there's a guy who you think is canceled, but is he really? He kind of tried to come back, and then remember he did the little interview, and then everyone was like, go away, James Franco. He's like, crap, I got to go back in my hole. It's like Groundhog Day. He's got to come out of his hole, look around, and say, is it safe? And like, no, it's James Franco, go to hell. Back down into the groundhog hole. That's how it goes with these people that are quasi canceled. Ezra Miller's going to have to play Groundhog Day or yeah, not the movie because we know that's Groundhog Day. Literally, Punxsutawney Phil pop his head up, and people say, Ezra, is it okay to come out now? Okay, no, all right, back I go. 6 more weeks of winter. That's what Ezra Miller's going to be dealing with. And same with James Franco now, who's been stuck in the groundhog hole for how long? 2 years now? What was that HBO show he had that was still on, the something? And he was in it, and it was kind of like they didn't even mention he was in it, but yet he was like the big star of it. There was that weird thing with James Franco. Right now, I feel like he is canceled, but he's not Kevin Spacey canceled. There should be levels of canceledness. Kevin Spacey canceled. James Franco, yes, 90% canceled, but there's still a 10% wiggle room there. Now, Ezra Miller, I feel like this is okay. If you had to put a number on Ezra Miller's cancelability right now, how canceled is he? I'm going to put the number at about 50%. I think it might be less than that. Do you think that's fair? 50% for Ezra Miller. Because if you give him a year, and when Flash comes out, he starts doing some promo work, Warner Bros. Like, it's safe, come out of the groundhog hole, then I think it's a 50%, which isn't bad. I'll take that. For what Ezra Miller's done, not just in Hawaii, but choke slamming that woman. Did you see that video of Ezra Miller choking and literally throwing a woman across a bar? I mean, it was totally violent. And that happened during COVID. And everyone was like, oh my God. And then it disappeared. And now he's got stuff going on in Hawaii. I still think which is insane that I'm saying after everything I've said about Ezra Miller, I still feel like he is 50% canceled. Tell me if you think that's a good number. I feel like that's fair. 50% Ezra Miller canceled today. That'll go lower as we get closer to Flash. So maybe Warner Brothers doesn't have to go reshoot the whole thing. They don't want to. Nick just saw Massive Talent. Absolute blast. Awesome 90-minute celebration of Nick Cage's early 90s and early 2000s action romps. It is a good movie. I think it's very much of a film Twitter movie, though. It's wide open to 7 million, and it didn't do quite what they expected. Lionsgate. It's got a lot of film Twitter things going for it. Like, if you're not a huge Nick Cage fan, the comedy's not going to work as well as something as really just forgettable as The Lost City. But the reason The Lost City has I think it's 100 million now, is because it's accessible to everybody. This is a film that when you talk about Paddington 2, which, Nick, I know you listen, I'm just saying, you get it, I get it, but Joe Blow from Dayton, Ohio is like, Paddington 2? I don't understand what you're saying, because not everybody lives on Twitter. We do. Most of you, I imagine, do, but not the average person that lives in Dayton or Indianapolis or Pittsburgh. These are my 3 favorite, like, generic Midwest towns. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, so I pick other towns like Dayton. I wish we had a A-list in Canada, Gavin. All right, we pay $10 a month for 1 free movie and $3 off tickets. $10 for 1 free movie. I guess that's okay. It's not an A-list though. That's by no means A-list. So yeah, that's not great. It's unfortunate, Gavin. What's your theater chain? I should probably know what the theater chains of Canada are. Bigger star quality: Anya Taylor-Joy, Sydney Sweeney, or Zendaya. Yeah. No question. I wasn't really small. Listen, it was a tiny. If you watch the episode, you're going to see me for like half a second. Episode of Euphoria this past season, and I was like 5 feet away from her. She is stunning. She's just what you expect: tall, thin, and she just has it. Remember, we talk about all these stars that have the it quality. She has it. There's no question about it. Remy paid for Morbius and liked it. It's okay. Morbius isn't terrible. It's not a good comic book movie, but it's not a bad film. It's not a great film. Please, let's establish that. Not a great film. But it's also not the worst film ever made, like some people said. You need to save that worst film ever made crap from when the film really is terrible. Because there's going to be a film coming up that's way, like, almost unwatchable. And it's not Morbius. Not good, but it's not unwatchable. I would actually watch Morbius again before I watch Fast 9. Mm-hmm. Yep. Or Iron Man 3. I would watch Morbius again. Ooh, that's hard. Man, that's pretty bad. Let me rethink that. Would I watch Morbius again or Iron Man 3? I'd probably watch Iron Man 3. That doesn't mean I think Iron Man 3 is good. I just think Morbius is totally forgettable and flat. Didn't pay for Morbius. Friend at Sony let me tag along to a local press screening. Nice, Mark. I mostly went to see him. Yeah, he's a badass. I love that guy. I mean, he's a good looking dude. I mean, he's almost 50 too. I mean, he's not like some young guy. He looks great. He doesn't age. I mean, Morbius is a vampire, and obviously the perfect guy played him because he doesn't age. It's really wonderful. Going backwards on the comments, let's go forward. Oppenheimer is Universal. Is Oppenheimer Universal? Oh hell, man! I'm so, I think you're right. I get stuck. I thought that Warner's had Nolan locked into a deal. That's right. Yeah, I think it is Universal. You're right, Aaliyah. Shame on me. That's a strike for Eric tonight. It is Universal. I'll have plenty of time to get that film ready when it comes to 2023. When I put together Awards A's, so I'm going to pull up Awards A's real quick. This is my website, the awards website. Let's see if I can share it quick. But when I put it together during the early of the year, is I get to know all the films. I'm intimate with every studio because you have to be. When you put together a list of awards films, you have to know what studios they're coming from. So right now, if I look at a film, I can tell you Killers of the Flower Moon right there. That's a Best Picture contender. Obviously, that's why it's there with Leo, and that's Apple. And when I go over here, that's Crimes of the Future. That is Neon. The Northman, that is obviously Focus. Universal, Nope. Elvis, Warner Brothers, right? I know all these films because I'm doing it this year. But when I start talking about 2023, I tend to think I'm just stick back with the old studio because he has a real tradition thing. Obviously, going with Warner Brothers, he's got a legacy going with them. So I thought that's where he stayed. But good for Universal for bringing him away. I'm sure that now that I think about it, if I remember correctly, it was all about how they, remember he really wanted theatrical. And I remember Warner Brothers was doing that day and date thing, and they were screwing with people. Like Denis was not happy with what happened with Dune, nor should he be, because that movie was screwed by day date. If that movie is theatrical only, it does a lot better than it did. And so does every single film that came out in 2021 from Warner Brothers. Every single one of those films does better in exclusive theater situation. Theater exclusivity is really everything. I mean, if you give people the movie at home, then they're going to watch it at home. They're not going to go out to the movie. So I think that was a big deal. Universal probably said, listen, we're going to only make it theatrical. We're not even going to screw with that, even though I know Warner Brothers is doing that now. But maybe at the time they were like, we don't know. Maybe we don't know if we want to do that. And he's like, well, then I'm out of here. I'm going to Universal. Top 3 favorite films of 2022. We can do this for a whole thing. I'm going to do this. Maybe we'll do this on Thursday. I will say my number 1 film. That's very easy. I'll give you my number 1 right now, and I got to think about 2 and 3. Number 1, Laura, of 2022 is very simply X. X is the best film that I've seen this year. It's because of Ty West's direction. I mean, I love horror films, but Ty West's direction in X is so far above what I expect from a film. It's elevated to a level that is elite plus. When you watch the landslide scene of X, and if you've seen X, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen X, you got to watch it. Watch the landslide scene. That's the Fleetwood Mac song that all of a sudden just starts getting played, and then the movie, just the edits in that scene alone. That scene alone will probably be it'll easily be in my top 3 scenes of 2022. So that and his direction make X essential viewing. It is truly the best film of 2022. It is light years better than Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm not a huge fan of that film. And we have talked about that before. I don't want to get into it too far. Maybe we'll do this on Thursday. I'm going to tell you about my favorite films and maybe my least favorite films of the year so far. But X is the best film of the year. It's certainly A24's best film of 2022 is X. It is not Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's done. Why don't I like Iron Man 3? Superhero movies is here. Because they neutered the Mandarin. They ripped off the Mandarin's cock. It's getting late. Let's throw it all out there. They literally destroyed the Mandarin, right? They ruined a character in Iron Man 3. What Shane Black does to the Mandarin is unforgivable. And once that happened, I said, it's over. My relationship with Iron Man 3 is severed forever. Not to mention the rest of the film. set in Christmas. That's minor, but it's still incredibly stupid. And also the whole thing with the kid detective and staying in the barn, and what, this movie's a mess. Iron Man 3 is a shit show. Not a good film. That's why. Iron Man 2 is better. Again, not saying Iron Man 2 is great. I'm just saying it's better. You need to have those right. You need to have that lined up. Iron Man 1, 1. Iron Man 2, 2, and Iron Man 3, 3. They're in order already. You don't have to renumber them. You don't need to put, you sure as hell better not have 3, 1. If you have 3, 1 in Iron Man, you're doing something wrong. Really wrong. Get your life together. I'm talking to you, Iron Man 3 fans. So there, is that good enough for you? Superhero movies? Was that succinct enough? I guess Feige, in retrospect, agrees with you because Shang-Chi addressed the Mandarin issue. Yes, he did. I wonder, Feige obviously has been at Marvel for a long time. I'm curious, though, because Iron Man 3 was... What year was Iron Man 3? Was it like 2014? Was it 13? I don't remember the year. It was probably somewhere in there. But maybe Feige wasn't as powerful as he is now. The thing is Feige's strength has grown over the years. We can all agree. There's no question. When you have all the hits that he's had and he's guiding the MCU through the uber successful period that it's had, and every film is a tent pole and really the end of the universe when it comes to everybody we got to go see it, like Doctor Strange 2. Feige is now, he's basically the almighty god of Disney. I mean, who's bigger than him? Nobody. Kevin Feige runs the universe. Certainly not just the Marvel universe. He runs Disney. I mean, that guy, whatever he pulls down, whatever his salary was before, I'd love to just peek under the hood. What is Kevin Feige's salary? Can we find that? Can someone dig that out for me? Because I'm sure it's some astronomical number. But I am all, hey, if you can justify it, then go for it. I heard that Vin Diesel got Justin Lin fired. Laura, is that going around? There's some stuff about Vin Diesel. I don't know the exact details, all of it, but I know this. The Rock seems like a really good guy, and The Rock and Vin Diesel do not get along. You guys know that. There's a major feud going on. So I would tend to side with The Rock. I think he is, from all people that I've talked to in the industry and just in general, when you watch how he interacts with fans and who he is as a person, he's a stand-up person and a very forthright person. And I would say that if you have a problem with The Rock, you might have a problem. You know what I'm saying by that? Because I think that Vin might be toxic. I can't answer that question. I'm just saying, I'm just guessing that it could be the case just based on that and some other things. But if he did get Justin Lin fired, then that's probably the case. I mean, who's bigger, Vin Diesel or Justin Lin? Vin Diesel. Even though, I mean, Vin Diesel hasn't opened a movie. When's the last time Vin Diesel opened a movie? He tried. Remember when he tried? What was that one? We had X, Triple X. And what was the other one? There was some other one that was like recently. I didn't see it. It was right around when we shut things down or whatever. It was not good and it totally bombed. Vin Diesel is not a star in that he can't open a movie. Not anymore. The Rock opens movies, not Vin Diesel. But that's interesting if he did get Justin Lin fired. That wouldn't surprise me if that's true. Bodie, welcome. Thanks for joining here tonight. It's probably less than some executive at Universal since Lynn has over. Vin Diesel's an egomaniac. Well, that's what we just talked about, buddies. Yeah, there you go. You guys are going back and forth, and I didn't even see your comment. Now you're agreeing with what I just said. I think that's the story with Vin Diesel. I don't know the answer. I can't say I've met the guy, but I'm just saying again, if you have a problem with The Rock, you might have a problem. That's how I would see it. First of all, I wouldn't want to have a problem with The Rock. I don't want to have a problem with The Rock. That's a big dude. This guy's like 6'3", 250, all muscle. He would just literally grab you and destroy you. I mean, just literally quite simply snap you in two. That wouldn't be good. Is he joking? Fast 9, probably the worst modern movies ever made. I think that's true, superhero movies. I think Fast and Furious is... It was certainly Fast 9. Fast 9 is really it plays better as a comedy, but it's not even funny in that it's ridiculous funny, and it is really truly horrible. Fast 9 is an unwatchable film. It's watchable, but it's embarrassing. Okay, and when I watched, there's a quote from IndieWire. Go back and look. There's a quote from IndieWire that they used that said something to the effect of, this is something you must see on a big screen. Like literally that's all they could think of. And I can't even imagine writing that. If I was employed by IndieWire, say, Eric, we need you to have a quote for Fast 9, I'd say this movie sucks. That's all I got. I think I said my quote. I'll go back and look for my tweet. It was really savage about F9. And I said, why don't you guys use this quote versus the one that's up there from IndieWire? Like, did IndieWire get paid for that? Because I don't know how you say what they said about that film. I have no idea. Is Tom Cruise is 59? I was close. I said 58. I mean, he looks great for 59. All 59-year-olds should look like Tom Cruise. And Johnny Depp's in his 50s too. He looks great too. It's Hollywood. You can't let yourself go. Getting rid of Lynn may actually get me to watch Fast 10, because I'm not, since I had it with that franchise. Can't bring myself to watch F9. Mark, thank you for that. I'm sure you'll hate it. It's just, I have to watch them because we discuss these films, so I feel like I should. But I'm not looking forward to Fast X, especially after Fast 9. Again, for me, Lynn is out because they watched F9 again, and they said, we really don't want to do this again. Nor should they ever think about doing what happened in Fast 9 again. I didn't like 8 or 9. 8 and 9 are not great. Neither one. Hobbs and Shaw is better. Hobbs and Shaw is the best of the last several Fast movies. Hobbs and Shaw is actually fun because it has The Rock and it has Jason. You have those two guys, and then that's everything to that franchise. And then you remove them, and then you have a real problem because Vin Diesel can't carry a movie. We just said that. Vin Diesel's not a star. He's not The Rock. He might think he is, but he's certainly no way in hell is Vin Diesel even comparable to The Rock. And if I see Vin Diesel out tomorrow here in LA, I'll be ready for him to like drill me in the face. But I'm just telling you, Vin, you're not as big as The Rock. That's not even it's not debatable. It's not something we can even talk about other than it's not the case. 1,000% would prefer to see anything on the big screen than at home on my 80-inch. And you have a huge TV. I don't have an 80-inch TV. I would absolutely rather watch a movie at home. No, at the theater. Do not. That's an outtake. I would never watch a movie at home versus go to a movie unless they didn't provide me an opportunity. Like, great example, they just sent me a small French film called Black Box. The studio said, will you please watch this? Really small distributor. They're not even doing a screening of it. But if they were doing a screening, I would drive to go see it because I've heard it's good. It's a French film. I've heard very good things about it. But I now have a screener that I'll probably watch tomorrow. I don't really want to because I want to see it on a big screen. But it's such a small film that's going to be very hard to even track down here in LA. It'll be on one screen, probably on the west side. That's a really long drive. And gas prices is ridiculous now, right? I mean, we're paying $5. I think I got my gas in Orange County the other day. They're $5.20 for a gallon of the low, the 87 or whatever the hell it is. I don't know what you guys are paying, but we're paying $5.20 out here. So it's a lot. So true. Eric, cinema is so good. I still get butterflies, collecting my tickets. Same here, superhero. Same thing. Popcorn, tortilla chips. It's an event. When you go to the movies, you just literally the Nicole Kidman promo, and you've seen it, the AMC, it's magic. The whole thing. I can't recite it. I apologize for not memorizing that. But what the essence of that spot is that movies are magical. That's it. That's the essence of the spot, and it's true. When the lights dim, you are taken to a place. Oh God, I'm starting to recite it. That is a magical place, and it really is a kind of thing. It's a cathedral. It's like for me, it's like going to church. Please, God, do not strike me down. But it is right. You you get this feeling, especially when the movie's great. Even if it's bad, you have this feeling that you get that it's a communal experience. So there was like 3 of us in this movie. It was Duel, which is a really good film. Top 3 films of the year. Duel is on that list as well. Very small film. Duel just came out. Riley Stern's latest film. There's 3 of us in the theater. And it just feels like you're like locked away from the world, right? You're locked into this theater, into one of the rooms with whoever's in there. There are 3 of us in there. It's just like, this is just you in the movie and these other souls experiencing it all at the same time. How many things do we experience all at one time now? We're all fragmented. We all have a million things going on. I mean, one of the reasons I moved this whole thing to Midnight Movie Talk is it's like, that's late at night. You guys, people are hanging out. Maybe we can get kind of community going here because that's what it feels like for film. for me, is that it's really a communal thing. And when you go to a film, it's a different experience. So I agree with you 100%. A couple more minutes. We're going to wrap this tonight. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And you can find me on Twitter, reply there. I look at all the comments. So thank you again for everybody who tunes in and hits. I love going back and forth with you guys. Really good stuff. I'd rather watch Ambulance, Rachel says, at home because the shaky cam made me sick. Yeah. Ambulance was entertaining in a bad way. It's not a great film, but the shaky cam, that's what Bay does, right? He jams that camera so close to the actor's face. It's like, I wish I could grab my webcam and jam it right up next to my face. Like here, like, it's just like, can we just settle down, Michael, just a little bit? And I actually like his frenetic directing style, but this one was just too much. And a lot of the drone stuff, right? Every movie's got drone shots now. That film has so many weird, like, stunt drone shots, but it's still fun. I had fun with it. It's not my favorite movie of the year, but it's certainly better than Morbius, better than F9, better than Iron Man 3. Ambulance, greater than Iron Man 3. There's another one. All right, couple more comments, and we're going to wrap this thing. Bodie again, probably some executive at Universal, and okay, yep, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Lynn did basically create, he's the backbone of the franchise, but I think at some point it all comes to an end. But something bad happened on set. They're never going to tell you. You're going to have a hard time figuring it out. But I'm telling you now, that was not. They're going to say it was mutual because that's what Hollywood does. But at the end of the day, someone got fired. And it probably was Lynn. And it probably is, let's say that it was Vin. Vin came in and said, listen, this isn't working. I want him out of here. It's him or me. And who do you think they pick at that point? Universal picks Lynn to go, Vin to stay, because they can't get rid of Vin. If he pulls that stunt, if you're Vin Diesel and you walk in and you say, listen, it's him or me, who's going? The director's going. I don't care who the director is. I mean, who knows? Maybe they got into some clash. But again, Vin Diesel and The Rock do not get along. And The Rock seems like a guy that gets along with most people. So I have to look at Vin Diesel here. So the fact that someone said that he got fired because of Vin makes sense to me. The Bourne movies I prefer at home, shakiness, same thing. I'm not a huge Bourne movies fan. But yes, agreed. Shaky cam is not there. All right, couple more and then we're going to wrap it. I promise. Side note, Eric, who would you rather go on a date with, Margot Robbie or Prime Beyonce? I don't know. I met Margot Robbie in person. I've never met Beyonce. Margot Robbie is another stunning woman, and I imagine Beyonce is as well in person. I told you that Elizabeth Olsen is by far. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen is just. I can't state enough. I don't want to come off as creepy, dude, but I'm just telling you the truth. When you go to these events and you see all these stars, and then I saw Margot Robbie, she's dropped dead. Okay, let's make sure that's stated. But Elizabeth Olsen is a whole nother. It's one of those you're like, you just have to see it I can't explain it. I just have to tell you that if you were at an event and you were like, scan the crowd, and then you just be like, wow, that's Elizabeth Olsen. Okay. Yes, Rachel, the trial is bizarre. Don't watch the Johnny Depp trial. Find something else to do. Go to the gym. Go running. Do something other than sit at home and watch the trial. What is it on? Is it on Court TV? CNN? I have no idea. I don't want to watch it. I have no interest in the trial. I've heard some crazy things. I get on Daily Mail. Daily Mail is amazing. If you guys don't read Daily Mail is my favorite news website. It's got gossip. It's got news. The comments are fantastic. Download the Daily Mail app. If you do not have it, it's a UK publication. They publish it here in the States as well. Daily Mail. Awesome. Back to Netflix, and then we still have people watching, so I feel terrible about shutting it off, but we're going to have to shut it down. It's almost bedtime for me here, past 10 o'clock on the West Coast. They got to get into bigger chains, Netflix, to pick better dates when there is not as much product in the marketplace, too many other films. They have too many films, Everett. Netflix has too much crap. That's what we said the other night. Netflix has too much crap, and that is their problem, and they've learned that now. Too much crap equals people go, I don't know. I'm lost with all the choices. Make it simple for me. That's what theatrical is all about. There's only 3 movies that opened last weekend. I can handle that. 3 movies. I watched all 3. Bad Guys, Massive Talent, and Northman. Very easy. I'm done. Check. Netflix. Holy shit. What are all these things on my queue? I don't know. There's shows and documentaries and movies and old shit, new shit. It's too much. There's too much stuff. And when there's too much stuff, then your mind just explodes. They need to pare it down and get it into a few things. And like you said, pick better dates. Look at the Atom Project. That should have been a theatrical movie. I don't think it looks like $1 zillion. The effects are not really that great. But Ryan Reynolds, sci-fi, harkens back to Amblin of the 80s. That kind of film is not in a theater. That's a crime. Okay, it would have made some money, especially then. That was a dead zone in the theatrical calendar. So what a mistake by Netflix. They just continually make mistakes. I'm here for you, Netflix. I will come. I could drive to Netflix. I could be at Netflix probably at this time of night. I could be at Netflix's door on Sunset in about 11 minutes. So in 11 minutes, I can meet somebody outside, open the gate, let me come in, and I will pitch you on how we get this thing turned around. First of all, get rid of half your shows. Second of all, make theatrical a big deal. And then give me a check, and I'm going to head home and go to bed. It's that simple. All right, we're almost done here. Elizabeth Olsen is beautiful. Yes, that's the takeaway tonight. She is. No question. All right, guys, that's going to do it here tonight for Midnight Movie Talk. Thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, and share. Appreciate you watching. We'll be back on Thursday night talking about the new movie, Memory, with Liam Neeson, who's now into his 70s, but yet, or very close to 70. If he's not 70, he's like 69.9 years old. So I think that he is. It's just about time for him to stop making those movies. But I'll see Memory. We'll talk about that on Thursday, along with my top films of the year and my worst films of the year. Thursday night on Midnight Movie Talk. Guys, as always, thank you. We'll talk again on Thursday. Good night to you.